competitive spirit that's going on in here. Like Scottie picking me up full court. Just pick up. First of August, and y'all got that mindset of just be a dog. You know what I mean? Everybody should have that mindset, especially if you want to get paid, take care of your family. So.
A little extra as far as just seeing the game a little slower, you know, and that's rare for a guy. How old is he? 19, 20? I mean, sheesh. You know, he knows how to play the right way, and he's only going to get better.
Scottie Barnes was drafted 4th overall in the 2021 NBA draft behind Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley. While the 4 of these players are all standout talents, Scottie has since gone on to win the Rookie of the Year and solidifying himself as the possible cornerstone for the Toronto Raptors franchise. The potential that Scottie Barnes possesses could be called generational, and today we talk about just that, asking the question, what is Scottie Barnes' ceiling? Before we get into today's video, I just have to say thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. That is seriously insane. You guys have been showing so much love by sharing the videos, liking them, or even commenting on them. You name it, you guys have been there showing up, and I really do appreciate the support. Here's to 300 subscribers. Now back to the video. Scottie grew up playing in West Palm Beach, Florida, attending Cardinal Newman High School before graduating to and from Florida State University. Since being in the league, he's definitely started to make a name for himself, earning the respects of the league's finest like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and even James Harden. It's no secret that Scottie is talented. He's 6'7", 225, and as of recently can put the ball on the floor and move around you to score at you at the rim or hit a mid-range or maybe even a 3. Not to mention, he'll pick up any position the entire length of the court and face guard them. When it comes to young talent, hustle is one of the things I definitely look for on how far these players can progress and grow. You know, how bad does this player want it? Well, Scottie wants it more than anyone seemingly. If you guys have been paying any attention to any of these off-season runs and open gyms that you've seen NBA players take part in, any single one that features Scottie, he's in there going the hardest. He's not there for the social aspect or to make friends in the off-season. He's there to work, condition, and get better. And to see that out of your 20-year-old star who just won the Rookie of the Year, I mean, as a Raptors fan, you could not be more thrilled. Scottie's work ethic is seriously next level. His all-star teammate Pascal Siakam had this to say about that. I was really proud of Scottie. Just seeing his work ethic and the things that he's been able to do all year, just being able to be out there and work every day and seeing him put the work in, and I just hope he continues that. Something I really like about Scottie's attitude is that even though he's starting to get a little more press and a little more buzz around his name since winning Rookie of the Year, he's still, just as Nick Nurse said, the same humble prospect they chose. He's not doing too much or letting the fame get to him, which happens a lot with these young guys. He's just enjoying the system and the place that he's playing basketball. And as for that system, I think Toronto's going to play a huge part in the progression of his career. Currently, Scottie plays for, like I said, the Raptors under head coach Nick Nurse. For those of you who don't know, Nick Nurse is one of the smartest and greatest basketball minds at the head coach position right now. He's someone who's really, really good at developing someone like Scottie, who is what he calls a positionless prospect. Yes, Scottie runs the forward role primarily, but he possesses all the skills to be a primary ball handler in the system if needed. This is really exciting to think about, Scottie's future, just because of the fact that Nick Nurse has already coached and trained players like OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam, and I think Scottie possesses the skill that those two players have and then some. So I'm sure not only Scottie is going to have a ball growing there, but Nick Nurse is going to have a ball just working him out and trying to get him better every year. This year, Scottie averaged 15 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 55% true shooting splits. If he was in a different system where he was the sole ball handler or shot creator, it's obvious to infer that his numbers would go up, but I don't know about his team's productivity. I know the Raptors were not a finals contender last year, and they may not make it this year, but that doesn't mean that they don't play and contribute to winning basketball in that franchise. The style of play that they play is not like most middle-of-the-pack teams. Like I said, they've experienced winning under Nick Nurse, and now anyone who plays for them is either buying into the system or getting traded out of it. One little slight on Scottie's game that I'd like to see improve next season is his three-point percentage. I also hopefully expect him to be taking some off the dribble and more contested three-point shots. Not necessarily what you would call bad looks or inefficient shots, but just something to show me that, hey, all this work that he's been putting in the offseason is now going to translate onto the court. But something I do want to talk about before we get into the verdict of Scottie Barnes' ceiling is the ceiling of the Toronto Raptors themselves. If Scottie were to take that, say, all-star jump, then they would theoretically have 3 all-stars in Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and obviously himself, Scottie Barnes. Also including Gary Trent Jr. and OG Anunoby to fill out the starting 5, both of which are thriving in their roles in Toronto, especially Gary Trent Jr. Any chance I get, I'll tip my hat to him. He was going to be on my underrated players video, but he just missed the cut. But seriously, guys, if you're tuning into Toronto's games these years, keep an eye on Gary Trent Jr. He's a serious sniper. Like I said, the Raptors will be so fun to watch next season. As for their ceiling, I actually surprisingly have them in around the same trajectory and echelon as the Cavs. While the Cavs just made a blockbuster trade for Donovan Mitchell, I made a whole video about that. If you guys haven't seen it, I would check it out. While the Raptors may not have the same star power as the Cavs and their newly acquired Donovan Mitchell, as I mentioned earlier, they have experience in winning, which if you watch that video involving the Cavs, I talk about how they're very young and have none of that. But like I said with the Raptors, they won with Nick Nurse back in 2019. So I'd say that they could make the second round. It's possible that they could even make an Eastern Conference Finals run if everyone stays healthy. And Scottie takes that next leap, not only on the court and in the way he plays the game, but with his leadership on and off the court. But what is that next leap? What exactly are we waiting for Scottie to go to? What is his ceiling? This may sound a little bit bold, but I would say, comparatively speaking, his floor may be someone like Paul George. His offensive game isn't there yet, but neither was Paul's. It wasn't nearly as polished as the game we see nowadays upon entering the league. Paul George, in our eyes, is one of the most lethal two-way players who can create and make almost any off-the-dribble three, shooting 40+% in multiple seasons. But would it shock you if I told you that just like Scottie, he shot 30% from downtown his first year? What may shock you even a little bit more is that I think Paul George, like I said, would be Scottie's floor, while a player like Kawhi Leonard could be his ceiling. Scottie possesses all the tools to carve out a successful career like Kawhi and even possibly winning an MVP. I'm not saying he'll be as talented, but he definitely plays the game very, very similar to Kawhi, and Scottie has a lot of years ahead of him to reach his potential. This could be a bit of a bold comparison to some, but to others of you, you won't even bat an eye. And I think that alone is a testament to how good Scottie Barnes really is. I think Kawhi is a top 3 player in the NBA when he's healthy. So if Scottie can become that one day, I'll hear no complaints from Raptors fans, and I'm sure they'll be happy to have another fun guy dominating the league.
I'm a fun guy. I'm a funny guy.
Of course, time will only tell how Scottie's career unravels, but with the small sample size he's shown us both on and off the court, I have to say I'm very, very impressed with his game, his attitude, and demeanor. The future is so bright for Scottie and the Toronto Raptors. Whether he turns out to have an amazing resume and career like Kawhi Leonard, or just plays at an all-star level like Paul George, I think the Raptors got their guy for the future, and they should be doing anything they can to re-sign him. If you guys enjoyed this video today, please be sure to leave it a like. Again, thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. If you made it this far, leave a comment down below and let me know who you would compare Scottie Barnes to. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Peace.